Rather than lies, welcome back to Kossi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kossi. It's a Friday. It is a Friday. I can't believe I'm saying this. That means football is officially back. Today I'm gonna be watching the German Bundesliga just to warm up for the big game tomorrow against Liverpool. Arsenal-Liverpool. That's the biggest game in Europe. So make sure you don't miss that. It's a game that is going to be very, very, very entertaining, intense. Whichever way you wanna put it, it's gonna have a lot of action and reaction tomorrow at exactly 7:30 p.m. Do not miss that game. You can miss anything tomorrow. Do not miss that game. Right, so we're gonna be speaking a couple of things in this show. Isco, again, reports indicating that he's moving closer. I did talk about the fact that Arsenal are reportedly in talks. The move is actually moving closer. Arsenal are looking at Isco as a quick fix to the midfield. Elneny going out in January, Pepe going out in January, and the fact that Mohamed Elneny could also leave the club in January and join Galatasaray. However, there is also talk of Zakaria replacing Mohamed Elneny. We're gonna dive into that. Obviously, Pepe, Newcastle have come in with a 31.4 million bid for Pepe. We said yesterday that 3 clubs were interested in Pepe: Newcastle, Crystal Palace, and Everton. And I said there was no way he was going to Crystal Palace. I think it could be Newcastle. I think it could be Everton. But AC Milan also want him, maybe for squad, for issues of squad depth. We'll try to dive into that as well. Arsenal will pay the 50 million pounds price tag for Alexander Isak. That story is also coming in. Look, I don't know if Real Sociedad will want 50 million. I think they'll want more than that. But Arsenal are reportedly ready to pay 50 million for Alexander Isak. Do we, is it that good? Do we have to pay that much? We're going to be diving into that as well. And Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that there is no agreement between Real Madrid and Donny van de Beek. The door is still very, very open to all clubs, including Arsenal, AC Milan, and all the other clubs that want the player. There is no agreement. The player does not have an agreement between him and Real Madrid. And Manchester United do not have an agreement between them, Manchester and Real Madrid. So it is very, very open. Donny van de Beek to Arsenal is still very, very possible. Why not? Do me a favor, smash the like button, people. That really helps me a lot. I want to get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of next year. So let's start that journey. Let's get into it. Next year, 100,000 subscribers. We should be getting the YouTube button next year. So guys, it's been a long time. Let's get there by next year by you guys subscribing and hitting the like button. I'm gonna say I'm really grateful for all the people who've taken a lot of time to watch my content. I really, really do appreciate. But at the moment, let's get into it. Let's start off with Isco. Reports again from Spain indicating that this time it is serious. In the summer, obviously we talked about Isco, and I thought Arsenal were going to actually put in a straight bid for Isco. Now it is reported that yes, Arsenal did love to sign the player. We wanted so many central midfielders, including Manuel Locatelli, including Renato Sanchez, Ruben Neves, and Isco was also part of the queue, was also part of the long list of midfielders that Arsenal actually wanted to sign. However, we didn't get any of them. It was actually Granit Xhaka that stayed at the club. Now reports are saying that Mohamed Elneny is going to leave the club. Mohamed Elneny has an agreement with Arsenal, and Elneny has an agreement with Galatasaray. Despite the fact that Arsenal do need to keep their players around, yes, Mohamed Elneny will be leaving the club. Definitely, either in January. That is what I do not know, lads. I do not know whether it's gonna live in January or in the summer. I'm still looking for that, looking out for that information and to confirm, is he going to go to Galatasaray in January or in the summer? But in case he leaves for Galatasaray in January, Isco is being looked at as the quick fix. Of course, Arsenal do not have that big budget in January to go out there and spend 40-50 million on a central midfielder. I would actually be very, very surprised if we did that. But Isco being now looked at as the next, as the quick fix to Mohamed Elneny. What do you think, guys? Do you think he's a better, he's an upgrade to Mohamed Elneny? In my own thoughts, yes, he's not played football. He has only played, he's only played football for Real Madrid seldom. Actually, that's the word, seldom. And I'll look into it and say, Isco, do we get him? Do we not get him? Probably yes, probably no. I said maybe on a loan deal it would work out. But guys, look, El Neni knows the Premier League, and El Neni knows how Arsenal operate, and El Neni is one of those players that actually, if you ask me, has been longest serving Arsenal in the squad right now. I would need him to be in the squad until the end of the season, and probably let him go in the summer. Look, this is not me being a hypocrite and eating my own words. I've already said Mohamed El Neni, good as a person, not very good as a player, especially for Arsenal Football Club. But I need all the resources we have. I need all the players together so that we can qualify back again to the Europa League and the Champions League. It is this lot of players that actually put us out of the Europa League and Europe. They need to take us back there before they leave. So Mohamed El Neni, you have a small role. You have such a small role at Arsenal. But I just believe like if Lokonga got injured, Ainsley is out, or Thomas Partey is out, El Neni can actually push in. My problem with Isco, and my big problem with Isco, the lack of game time. He's played so very few minutes over a long period of time. We cannot trust him. We don't know whether he comes in. Like, he might come in and and he's already finished. He might come in and become a good player. There is an opportunity, but of course he's now 29. 29 is clocking 30. I don't see how Arsenal really benefit a lot by signing him on a long-term contract. Yes, January until the end of the season, Arsenal are more than willing to pay all the wages of the player that is Isco. Would you take Isco? There is a very big question. He's getting older, lacks game time. But if El Neni is leaving in January, then we can't leave that spot open. Definitely, we will need to fill it. Isco moving and aging closer to an Arsenal move. If El Neni goes in January, to Galatasaray, you might see Isco as the next midfielder Arsenal bring in the January transfer window. Thoughts about Isco in the comments below. Obviously, talking about Mohamed El Neni, of course, we know that at the moment, like I said, we know now there is an agreement between Arsenal and the player also has an agreement with Galatasaray that he will join them, and I think it's gonna be on a free transfer. I think it's gonna be look, I'm still very optimistic. Like I said, I do not have enough information about whether he's gonna leave in January or in December, or in August, but what I know is that there is an agreement between all parties that the player will actually join Galatasaray in Turkey, probably in January or at the end of the season. What I know is that Arsenal have started already to look for a new midfielder if El Neni leaves in January, and the possible replacements are Isco and of course Dennis Zakaria. Now Zakaria has been linked with Arsenal. You guys know that. Back in the mix, back in the news. I missed him, by the way. I really missed him. But of course, reports I've looked at indicate that Dennis Zakaria could be one of the quick fixes again the Arsenal are looking at if Mohamed El Neni leaves in January. Of course, with Thomas Partey getting injured here and there all the time, Ainsley, I don't trust him as a midfielder that much, although he's given me a reason to in the Watford game, but I'm still very skeptical. I need more performances. I need more assurance. I need more evidence to actually believe that he's actually changed as a player. Dennis Zakaria, another player that I've always held in high regard, and of course people on this channel, at least the 34,000 subscribers, have held Dennis Zakaria in absolute and maximum respect and regard. You guys have voted, and you've already said that if it comes to a new central midfielder, if it comes to a new defensive midfielder, Dennis Zakaria can do it very well for Arsenal. Honestly, he's Swiss, and just like Granit Xhaka, so maybe we could have he could be looking at such kind of a reunion with his captain, with his national team captain, and probably it could be an incentive. We could use Granit Xhaka to persuade Dennis Zakaria to join Arsenal. Of course, there have been talks of a potential swap deal between Zakaria and Nketiah. Nketiah doesn't want to stay at Arsenal. Nketiah wants to leave. He's already told the club, I want to go. This place really sucks. He said, I wanna go get some game time. Borussia Mönchengladbach, among other clubs, including West Ham, Crystal Palace, and Brighton, are the clubs interested. Gladbach could be a very, very, very good destination for Edin Ketia. For me, the German Bundesliga is just a soft league that Edin Ketia can actually operate in, and definitely the swap deal between Zakaria and Edin Ketia makes a lot of sense. So look, Zakaria being fronted again, his name being fronted, on the shores of Arsenal Football Club as one of those players that could actually replace Mohamed Elneny in the January transfer window. I'm really excited. If Zakaria comes in, let Elneny go in January. I got no problems. Look, my problem with Mohamed Elneny is nothing. It's just okay as a player, and I really do not want to have any problems with him. So of course, if Dennis Zakaria is coming in, I'll be very, very more happier and glad to let Mohamed Elneny leave in January. But of course, there's a very, very big question around Zakaria. Yes, Gladbach want to sell for the right price if it comes in. Would they want to do a swap deal? Probably yes, probably no. My problem with Gladbach is they are looking at a season where maybe they can go back to the Europa League. They might not want to lose the best players they have at the moment. Maybe we can actually get Zakaria on a free in the summer. We wait to see what happens. Like I've already said about Dennis Zakaria, very, very impressive, very good as a player. If Arsenal do look for someone who can actually do that role very, very well, short term and long term, never disturbed by AFCON, apart from the World Cup that's going to disturb us next year in November, December, Dennis Zakaria is your man. Swiss, young, and obviously very energetic, athletic, very disciplined as a defensive midfielder. Of course, he would actually replace Albert Sambi Lokonga. I don't want that. I really don't want that to happen. But anyway, it's it is what it is, isn't it, guys? Let's move over to the next story, which is Alexander Isak. Now, reports have actually been flying in here and there about a new striker. I've seen so many blogs write about who should Arsenal sign next as our striker. Our striker is actually getting older. With Lacazette now leaving the club, unless we get him to sign a new contract, because we've said yesterday, according to The Athletic, that yes, Arsenal would love to give Alexander Lacazette a new contract. And the new contract is 1 year. The player says, no, if it's not 2 years, if it is not at least 12, if it's not at least 24 months, I'm not signing that contract. My opinions about that that situation are very, very vivid. Watch the video yesterday about Lacazette signing a new contract, and you'll see and you'll hear what actually I think about Lacazette staying at Arsenal and the new contract at the moment. But of course, the news is that Mikel Arteta is very happy, pleased with Alexander Lacazette in training and on the pitch, so he would love to give him a new contract, at least 1 year. The player wants a long-term contract, not a short-term one, not a short-term contract. So what is happening is that Arsenal have started to look elsewhere for a new striker. Obviously, it looks like we are in a small circle. It looks like we are in that cell of knowledge. When you look at the strikers that we are being linked with, they have some similarities. Very young, they are very, very, very good numbers, and of course, they are really, really intelligent. Now, the player today we're gonna be talking about is not Dusan Vlahovic, and at the same time, is not Calvert Dominic Lewin, because we've been talking about those ones for a very, very long time. But another player, again, not new to the equation, not new to the party, Alexander Isak. Honestly, guys, I've talked about Alexander Isak before. Even in the summer, when we were coming from the Euros, he had a very, very, very decent campaign in the Euros with Sweden. Another Swedish player that we have been linked with, or Swede, I think the word is Swede, that we are being linked with. Obviously, we've been linked with Dejan Kulusevski from Juve, Swede, and another Swede player that plays another sweet player that plays in the Spanish La Liga with Real Sociedad, Alexander Isak. If you've watched Sweden, they actually play together. Kulusevski and Alexander Isak, they play together at the front in a 4-4-2. So probably if we got both of them, we could get ourselves a very, very good, a cut and copy. Sweden just get the Arsenal's two forwards and then paste them in their lineup, and then we just cut them there from there and then paste them in our lineup. So we are interested in those two, but the story today is about Alexander Isak. Now, the valuation of this player is between 50 to 70 million pounds. Dortmund are interested. Obviously, Real Sociedad did give him a new contract, buying out the rights of Borussia Dortmund in the summer, and now he's solely a property. Well, I mean, I don't want to call a player, a person, a property, but let me say he's. Excuse my language. He's a property, solely a property of Real Sociedad. Now it is around 50 to 72 million pounds that any potential shooter has to pay. Liverpool reportedly are interested and would love to pay the asking price. So at Dortmund, I don't see Dortmund going to pay 70 million for a young talent. I think they will go for the likes of Dusan Vlahovic and pay around 44 million pounds for him. I can see him going there. 70 million, Borussia Dortmund. No, I believe they're not actually going to do that. So, in my own knowledge, Arsenal now, are more than willing to pay the 50 million price tag if Real Sociedad are actually going to accept it. Of course, this is a deal that's going to happen in the summer. It's a deal that will never on this world, on this earth, happen in the January transfer window. Real Sociedad, I don't know what their plans are. I don't know what their ambitions are. Probably win the league. I don't think that is it. I probably go back to the Champions League or go to the Champions League or qualify for Europa League, and they will need their best players as well to stay intact and untouched in January. The good news around Arsenal is that no striker between Aubameyang and Lacazette is going to be leaving on a transfer in January. Lacazette will stay until the end of the season. So is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. And any players, any ideas of strikers leaving Arsenal between those two will be addressed in the summer. So that gives us more time to decide who comes in, and of course it gives us more time to decide which player and what amount do we have to pay. Isak can never be a panic buy. If Arsenal can get Alexander Isak in January, great move, great move. It is a wonderful signing. But honestly, in January, I don't see us again run such a big budget. It's gonna be more of free transfers. It's gonna be more of loan deals, getting players on loan deals, probably to help fix the situation when Aubameyang leaves and a couple of other players. I don't see Arsenal really pay 50 to 70 million pounds for Isak in January. A great player, another young player that would actually fit into the project that we are actually running at the moment. Get Alexander Isak and you have a piece of gold, talent that is real diamond in your hands. But at the moment, a lot of competition. Arsenal willing to pay the price. Is it true? And when is that? January or in the summer? I look at it as a story that can happen in the summer. I don't think it's a story that's going to happen anytime soon in the January transfer window. So that one will actually be reporting about it. I'll be updating about it until yes, it happens, or no, it does not happen. Now, talking about things that can happen in January is Nicola Pepe and the frustration. Now, according to reports coming in, Mikel Arteta has had individual training sessions with Nicola Pepe as a player, and it has failed to work out. That is according to a report I've looked at, and I've said this before, that it is not on Mikel Arteta that he's failing. It's not on Mikel Arteta. Any manager looking at Nicola Pepe, there is potential. There is a big talent in there. You want to help him. You want to help him escape, the gates and get that free flow, get the overload. It's not happening. It's just not happening. And for me, in my own case, in my opinion, the manager is never to blame for the poor performance of Nicola Pepe. Never will I ever blame Mikel Arteta. He's given him the game time. He's given him the trust. He's given him everything. The player has actually failed to sprout up. Probably, I could be wrong. I could be right. But for me, Nicola Pepe has got everything he would deserve as a player. Let's agree. Yes, Mikel has done so many things wrong. But on this one, I'm not blaming Mikel Arteta. No, not at this point. So Nicola Pepe, Newcastle are preparing a 31.4 million bid for Nicola Pepe in January. Take that money, Arsenal. That's all I can say. Take the money and let us put this behind it. Of course, Mikel Arteta and all Arsenal fans, it's very disappointing that our record signing didn't really work out. I would have preferred our record signing to work out. I would have preferred our record signing to be one of the greatest players in the land, one of the greatest players in the league. It has not actually worked out, and there is nothing we can't do about it. Lastly is Donny van de Beek. Now Fabrizio Romano has come out and said, no, guys, there is still hope, there is still a gate open for Arsenal and Donny van de Beek, and of course all other clubs like AC Milan that are interested in Donny van de Beek. Of course, he's come out and said that Real Madrid have actually no agreement. They have no agreement between them and Donny van de Beek and between them and Manchester United. The door is still very open. Donny van de Beek can still join any club as long as he can get game time. Of course, the reports I'm looking at are saying that he might start against Watford. That he's according to the Athletic, he's now he's in very, very high contention to start against Watford, and maybe United are now starting to listen to his call. Give me game time and I stay. Deny me game time and I'm gonna leave this charade of a club. Of course, guys, those are the stories that I had today to discuss in this early morning. Later on, I'll be dropping my predicted lineup. It's coming. My starting lineup. It's coming. I'll be doing Mikel Arteta's press conference. It's coming. It's coming today at 5 p.m. Hopefully, he'll have finished it. We'll do the press conference reaction, starting lineup, and later in the evening, we will dive more into Arsenal, Liverpool, and of course all the news that will be around the club. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the thing, and I'll speak to you very, very soon.